You know what's funny? I've literally never tried to convince anybody to become an entrepreneur. Even though I am one myself, I honestly just don't think that everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Everybody in this world is kind of split between two, where you have people on YouTube that tell you that you failed as a man if you're not an entrepreneur. But then you have this other subsect of people who think that entrepreneurs, billionaires, millionaires are just completely evil. And I'm kind of in this really weird midsection, because what I've been through isn't something that I think that just anybody could handle. I really don't. Back in high school, I used to just fail at math terribly. And my parents kept getting called in by my principal, and my principal would essentially tell them that I just wouldn't amount to anything. It wasn't necessarily because of the math. I just wasn't the best in school to begin with. I just remember the only thing I could ever tell my principal in those moments was I was going to be either a software developer, and so I didn't need math, which was ridiculous, or I was going to end up being an entrepreneur, and I just didn't need it. And then obviously she went on to tell me that the odds of me doing either of those was a 0.001% chance. And when I heard her tell me that statistic, all I could think about was middle school, telling my teacher that I wanted to be a professional football player. And once again, the statistics were being thrown out, that there's a 0.0001% chance that I'm going to be successful as a football player. And I realized that stupid statistic holds a lot of weight because it's actually applicable to every single thing. It's not just for being a successful entrepreneur or a football player. It is the exact same statistic to become a famous rapper, an engineer, literally anything. The odds of any success in any field start at 0%, obviously. But one thing that people just do not understand is, yes, that statistic exists, but the statistic only holds any weight if you just don't change anything about yourself. Look at it this way. If I'm an 11-year-old kid who's 4 feet tall, weigh 100 pounds, of course my odds of being in the NFL are 0.001%, obviously. But what if I'm 24, and since I was 11, I've spent an entire decade training every single day, studying playbooks, watching every single game, taking notes, eating right, hitting the gym, just simply doing everything that I'm supposed to do. Well, are my odds still 0.001% chance? No, absolutely not. And think of it like this. You're a little boy, okay? And you need to ride a bike. Well, there's a 0.001% chance that you're going to perfectly ride this bike on your first try, right? We're all going to fall off our bikes at the start, unless we have, training wheels. But then once you learn, guess what that 0.001% statistic changes into? Well, it becomes 100%. Because once you learn how to do something, the statistic is completely inapplicable to your future success. And this applies to entrepreneurship as well. Yes, right now your odds are terrible. Your odds right now are completely terrible. You're not going to be a successful entrepreneur. But if you do everything right and you learn how to be an entrepreneur, then your odds are 100%. And you need to understand that I am no different from you. I wanted to give up every single day in my beginning years. I promise you. And in fact, I remember multiple times that I was either trying to sell Photoshop services on Fiverr, and this was probably when I was 14 and nobody wanted to buy anything, obviously. I spent 5 to 10 hours a day optimizing my post, and I just simply couldn't get a sale. And it was so incredibly heartbreaking. I would literally lay in my bed and I would just cry. I remember one night my father ended up coming in when I was crying, and with him seeing that I was crying and wanting to give up on entrepreneurship, he gave me some piece of advice that literally didn't make sense to me at the time. He said, listen, the more skills that you adopt, the more capable you become, and the more capable you become, the more opportunities that you're going to see. And at the time, I thought this was complete BS. I did not understand it. He's actually a software engineer, so he thinks in things in a very unique way than I would have been at a really young age. And the only thing I could think of was, how could having more skills just magically create more opportunities? But now, at this point in time, I understand exactly what he meant. Every single skill that I've learned has completely compounded into every single business that I've done. My success now is actually built on every previous attempt, even the failures. And I've covered all the business models that I've tried in a previous video on this channel. And so I'm not going to sit here and waste your time with that. But you have gotten to see how every business that I've had previous to the one that I'm currently the most successful in held a lot of weight in teaching me the things that I needed to know for the current business that I'm in. And I do remember this one failed business model, which I tried as a kid, that taught me something so incredibly valuable. I launched a YouTube channel back in 2009 when I started selling modded PlayStation accounts. And it was just torture watching this damn subscriber count sit at 123 subscribers, and this was for months. And what's funny is about 100 of those subscribers were fake accounts that I just created myself to subscribe to myself, to give myself some kind of fucking mental achievement. But then I'd watch my friends upload content and get tons of views, and I'd ask for their secrets. try their methods, but literally nothing would work. There was a fire in my soul that just could not be extinguished. And what I started to realize as I got older was that failed YouTube experience taught me a lot about content creation. It taught me a lot about SEO. It taught me a lot about audience building. And so when I ended up getting into digital products years later, I knew exactly how to build websites. I knew exactly how to build certain things that I had learned from previous failed businesses. I was able to write better copy because at one point I was trying to be a copywriter, and I understood Photoshop. And you need thumbnails for YouTube, and so I was creating my own thumbnails because I couldn't afford a designer at the time. And so when it came to my business now, I knew exactly what I was looking for in somebody who was going to be good at Photoshop, and so it allowed me to hire. You need to understand is every single failure back then that I had is why I am who I am today. And one of the hardest parts most entrepreneurs face, at which I can attest to, is having nobody to talk to about any of this. In fact, I remember one day my best friends Adam and Corbin, they were over, and I was excited to tell them about this concept after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was essentially just talking to them about, treating every single dollar in their bank account as an employee. And at the time I was straight broke. I had no money in my name, but I was still telling my friends that I needed to make $300,000 a month. Corbin went ahead and told me that I was delusional and that I was ridiculous for even thinking any of this. And I insisted that I was serious. And he said, "You're actually delusional." And so anyway, I kicked him out of my house. He was being genuinely rude. He did not believe that we would be able to pull this off. I was so pissed, I had him get out of my house. And I haven't spoken to him since, except for a few years ago when he decided to message me and congratulate me about all of my success. I tried pressing my friend Adam at the time to do the same damn thing and to try and work on his life and to stop going to parties and focus on building something, but he could not stop trying to be cool in high school. He could not. There was this absorption of just trying to be cool in high school that he held more weight on than actually being successful. And so I ended up alone. The statistics were against me. Everybody in my life was against me, not maliciously, like these alpha male guru guys who believe that everybody is out to get you. And, you hear like everybody is going to be preying on your downfall and it's you versus the world. It wasn't like that. It's just, I didn't have anybody to talk to because nobody understood what I was trying to say and nobody believed that it was a possibility. And so I was alone, and it just made it difficult because I had nobody to speak to give me any kind of advice on, what I should do. And I'm sure you know this exact feeling of just being trapped in your own mind with beliefs so big that nobody else believes in them. It's scary and it's frightening. But every time I wanted to quit, I asked myself, well, what exactly is the alternative? What is the alternative? And at the time I had three options. I could either one, be an entrepreneur, whether successful or not, or I could work at a standard job at McDonald's, Walmart, whatever, or I could go to college for 12 to 16 years and get a degree that would give me a above paying minimum wage job. And I do want to mention, I am incredibly materialistic. I love cars, I love watches, I love houses, I love anything that money can buy. And you can see some of the vlogs on this channel are like that. I mean, I bought a Lambo, I bought a Maybach, I bought a McLaren, I bought a M3, an X5. I buy a lot of cars. And I realized at the time that two of those options would never put me in a position to be able to afford the things that I have today. And so I kind of just asked myself, I could get a higher paying job at corporate after all these years of college and get myself a Lamborghini at 40, but I wanted a Lamborghini at 20. And I could either commit to a perpetual servitude to the corporate world for the possibility of a good job, or commit myself for the hope of an entrepreneurial success. In either way, I was trading hope for hope, because after all, there is no guarantee in life. You can be successful guaranteed. There's 100% chance that you'll succeed, but only if you do the things that you need to do and you do them right. And I understand that you feel like giving up. I do. I understand it. And I understand that after you're done watching this video, you're going to completely forget about everything that I've said. It's like in high school when teachers would try to sit there and explain to you math or history, and you just don't listen. And then the teachers tell you, you're going to need this in the future. And then the future comes and you're like, man, I should have just listened back then. But look, business sucks in the beginning. And this is the point that I'm trying to convey, is it sucks in the beginning. I'm not going to lie about that. I cried almost every single day when I started. Every single day. But here's what you need to ask yourself. Is why did you start to begin with? Was it for materialistic things like me? Was it for freedom? Was it to escape your hometown? Was it for a specific car? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You need to latch on to that and allow that to be your driving force. And then here's the most important question that you need to start asking yourself when you feel like giving up. If I give up on this, I am committing to the alternative. Is that alternative something that I am willing to commit to? And with that being said, the answer is up to you. But whatever that answer may be, you know that you have a friend in me, and if you have any questions or need any advice, you know where to reach me.